Imagine you just sold your family home. You've got $1 million. You put it in a savings account because that's what everyone says is safe. A year later, you realize you made a big mistake. My name is Olivia, and I'm from a small town in Kentucky. I'm not a financial expert. I'm just a regular woman who grew up watching my parents clip coupons, pay bills every Friday, and say things like, as long as we have something in the bank, we're safe. But over the years, I started wondering, is that really true anymore? Because the world has changed. Prices go up every year. Everything from milk to gas to health insurance seems to cost more. And what used to feel safe doesn't always mean smart. So today I want to run an experiment, or rather a thought experiment. If you did the most responsible thing, you sold your home, took that money, and simply put it in a savings account for 1 year, what would really happen to your money? That's the question that started it all. Let me tell you a story about a couple I met last year. Their names are Mark and Susan, both in their early 50s, from Columbus, Ohio. Mark worked as an electrical engineer for almost 25 years. Susan was a middle school teacher. They raised 2 kids, both of whom had gone off to college, and for the first time, the house felt empty. One evening over dinner, they talked about the same dream many Americans share. What if we sell the house, downsize, and finally enjoy life a little? So they did. They sold their 4-bedroom family home for $1.2 million, or after paying off the remaining mortgage and taxes, they walked away with a clean $1,000 in the bank. It felt incredible at first. Susan said she couldn't believe how light she felt not having a mortgage. Mark said he finally slept through the night. They decided to rent a small place near a lake, spend more time with their grandkids, and not worry about money for a while. When they met with their local bank manager, he congratulated them and said, "You should open a high-yield savings account. It's safe, and your money will earn interest every month." It sounded perfect. Safe, steady, responsible. So that's what they did. They deposited the full $1,000 into a savings account, feeling confident they were doing the right thing. Now let's talk numbers, because that's where the real story begins. The average traditional savings account in the US offers around 0.45% annual interest. That means for every $100 you have, you earn about 45 cents per year. But high-yield savings accounts, the kind offered by online banks, have been offering around 4.5% to 5%. At first glance, that difference might not seem like a big deal. But when you apply it to $1 million, it's the difference between earning $4,500 and $50,000 a year. That's a difference of nearly $45,000, which could cover an entire year's worth of living expenses for many families. The truth is, that small percentage you ignore can quietly cost you tens of thousands of dollars a year. Let's imagine Mark and Susan chose 2 different paths. Path A, traditional account, 0.45%. After 1 year, they'd earn around $4,500 in interest. That's about $375 a month. Path B, high-yield account, 5%. After 1 year, they'd earn $50,000 in interest, about $4,166 a month. Now, $4,000 a month sounds like a lot, right? But here's where the story takes a turn, because money on paper doesn't always match the real world. In the same year Mark and Susan opened that account, the inflation rate was around 4%. That means the cost of almost everything they buy, groceries, insurance, utilities, gas, property taxes, increased by 4%. So while their money in the bank grew by $50,000, the value of that money, what it could actually buy, dropped by $40,000. When they looked at their account at the end of the year, it showed $150,000. But when they looked at their expenses, it felt like they hadn't gained anything at all. As Susan told me later, we were earning interest, but somehow we didn't feel richer. Everything around us just got more expensive. And that's the silent problem with keeping money in a savings account for too long. It doesn't lose dollars, and it loses power. That was the moment it hit me. I remember thinking, wow, saving feels safe, but it's not the same as growing. Most of us are taught that saving is the smart move, and it is, up to a point. But if your goal is to build long-term financial security, saving alone won't get you there. Keeping money in a savings account helps you sleep well at night, but it doesn't help your money work for you during the day. That line stuck with me, and it became the core of what I wanted to share on my channel. If I ever had $1,000, and honestly I hope someday I do, I wouldn't keep it all in one place. I'd build a plan that balances safety and growth. Here's what I learned from watching families like Mark and Susan. You need some money to protect you from emergencies, but you also need some money to grow to keep up with the world. If I had that million, I'd divide it like this. Keep just enough for short-term needs. Invest the rest in assets that work even when I'm sleeping, because true financial freedom isn't about the size of your savings. It's about how smartly you make your money move. Here's how that balance actually works in practice. Let's say your family spends about $4,000 per month. That's housing, food, insurance, utilities, everything. You should keep 3 to 6 months of those expenses in a savings account that you can easily access. That's your emergency fund, your cushion for when life throws you a curveball. So that's $12,000 to $24,000 safely sitting in your savings account. The rest of your million, that's where strategy comes in. If you were following the smart family finance approach, it might look like this: 40% in bonds or ETFs, stable growth with moderate risk. 30% in blue chip stocks, long-term high-quality companies. 20% in CDs, certificates of deposit, or U.S. Treasury bills, safe and predictable returns. 10% in cash, ready for opportunities or emergencies. That's how financially savvy families keep their money safe but still working. The key isn't about chasing risky investments. It's about building a balanced financial ecosystem. Let me tell you about my friend Sophia. She's 42, a mother of 2, and one of the most practical people I know. Last year, she sold her home in the city for a good price and moved to the suburbs. After taxes and fees, she had about $800,000 in cash. Sophia was cautious. She didn't want to lose her money in the stock market. So she opened a high-yield savings account, 4.75% interest, and parked every single dollar there. At first, she felt smart. Every month, she'd log in and see that little bit of interest added to her balance. It was reassuring. She'd smile and say, "My money's safe." But 6 months later, her family's monthly costs had quietly increased. Groceries were up, gas was up. Her kids' extracurricular activities cost more, and when she added it all up, she realized something shocking. The interest she earned wasn't even enough to cover the rising costs of living. She wasn't losing money on paper, but she was losing purchasing power. That's when Sophia decided to educate herself. She started reading about cash flow, diversification, and compound growth. She learned to split her money just like I mentioned before, keeping a small part for safety and investing the rest for growth. A year later, her finances looked completely different. Her savings account still had a comfortable buffer. Her ETFs had grown by 7%. Her family budget was stable again. And most importantly, she felt in control. Today, she says something I'll never forget. "I used to think saving money meant being careful. Now I know it means being strategic." So here's what I want to say, especially to the women, the moms, the wives, the caretakers, who often manage their family's finances quietly without much recognition. If you ever find yourself sitting on a big sum of money, whether it's from selling a house, an inheritance, or years of saving, please remember this: $1 million sitting in a savings account won't give you a peaceful life. It'll give you the illusion of safety, while your money quietly loses its value. Don't let your money sleep. Let it work for your future, your kids, your freedom. The smartest families aren't the ones who save the most. They're the ones who make their money move with purpose. Because true security doesn't come from the size of your bank account. It comes from knowing that your money, like you, is working hard every single day. What would you do if you had $1 million? Save it or invest it. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Smart Family Finance, where we learn how to make money work for us instead of letting it sleep in the bank.